We offer fast treatment to help you breathe easier and feel better fast. Quality care right here, right now. Click on our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. Despite a resolution affirming DeWitt County's lack of ordinances regarding data centers, interest from developers is beginning to stir. At Monday night's DeWitt County Land Use Committee meeting, Chair Buck Carter shared a shift in opinion on data centers since last month's proposed moratorium. After attending a seminar about them with Pat Ryan, he says it could be beneficial to look at creating an ordinance in partnership with a legal firm.
Pat and I attended a seminar last week put on by the United Councils, and even though right now there seems to be a massive nationwide effort to slow them down, or shut them down, or change them, or do something different, it kind of makes us wonder where we might be here in the future with this. And just out of curiosity, the attorney that was putting the seminar on, when it was over, I asked him, and he said he's put together several ordinances, what it would cost to hire an attorney to actually put together a first top class ordinance. And he gave me an estimate of probably around $6,000. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is this something we want to keep in the back of our minds? We want to review and look at where do we want to go with this in the future down the road.
Although there were conversations last month about a lack of interest in the county, Joe Whitty alerted the board to an interaction he had with a data center developer recently. Whitty proposed notifying the full board at this month's meeting to give them a month to decide if they would like to pursue an ordinance.
Last month when we met, we said that we had no interest in DeWitt County. Since that time, I think just last week, I was contacted by a developer who was curious about what the board's interest might be in housing a data center in DeWitt County. I told him I had no idea, and there's only really one way to find out, and that's to take it before the board. And so this particular development, if it were to materialize, they would be co-located next to a solar farm that had been previously approved. So some of the concerns about grid, usage drop from the grid, some of that would be mitigated. But my thought was, yes, we could wait until somebody approaches us. Well, sure enough, we've been approached. So next step is, do we, as a board, is it something that we look hard at? Now, I personally don't think it's right to necessarily start that process with one board and then let it go through that process and turn it over to a completely different board that hasn't been up to speed on. So my thought was maybe take something to the full board. Maybe we'll make them aware this coming month, but put something on the agenda maybe in May to see, do we want to start down that process of going and getting an ordinance together? Do we involve a legal firm, approved by Mr. Mark Will, to guide us through that, to expedite it? Because if we were to start down that path, it'd be nice to have it get through the full cycle, RPC and ZBA to the board, before you turn over and have a completely, new set of faces.
Hiring a legal firm to assist in creating the ordinance could expedite the long process and help the board finish the ordinance before there is turnover in November, should they be interested in doing so.
Take it to the full board and maybe put it up for a vote in May. Do we want to start down the path of creating a data center ordinance? And if so, to expedite that process, should we look into maybe use an economic development fund to engage a legal firm that's got some experience and can help guide us through some of that. And if the board says no, then, then that's the answer. But
Yeah.
I didn't want to just dump that on everybody. I want to give them a month or so to kind of see what the issues were in Sangamon County and some of the other areas. But it would be a potential significant amount of tax revenue and jobs, but there's also a lot of concerns out there. So I think we need to do our due diligence, get up to speed on these issues before we go down that path of creating an ordinance.
You need to address each class that go through it. From what I saw, you really need the legal expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan consulted with Kelly Murray, executive director of the Illinois Association of County Board Members, and she agreed that utilizing the legal expertise of a firm that has created data center ordinances could be a good idea.
I sent an email to Kelly Murray today, and she called me right back. My question was, is this legal firm going to develop a sample ordinance? Would we be foolish to have them make a specific ordinance for us if they're going to put something out like that? And she said, no, there's too many different counties have different requirements. They don't see the value of a sample ordinance, but they are going to put out kind of a template of these are the things that you need to put in your ordinance, and be more or less not a sample, but just a list of things that you want to include in your ordinance. And I also asked her about the idea of this law firm just developing the thing for us with our input. And she said, yeah, let's do that, and it probably wouldn't be a big price tag. She suggested that we talk to the law firm that I think Andrew, whatever it is, sounded out with him.
The committee agreed that it would be a smart choice to notify the full board next week of the interest and take a vote in May on whether or not they would begin the process of developing an ordinance. Last month, the board passed a resolution that affirmed their lack of ordinances regarding data centers, which for the time being disallows developers from making applications. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Kirby Medical Center boasts recent growth. Warm and muggy conditions will bring the possibility of more severe weather in central Illinois midweek. Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service in Lincoln told the Heart Media Group on the WHOW Morning Show Monday the next few days will be above normal for temperatures, setting up the possibility for severe weather around midnight on Wednesday.
Yeah, so with the real humid areas, you can imagine we're going to have chances of showers and a few thunderstorms in there. Today is just a real spotty 20% chance in there for the DeWitt County area. But we're going to climb all the way up to 83, well above normal. Some gusty southwest winds. So it's going to feel like, a summer day almost, with that 83 high there. Not a lot of rain. It's just really spotty. Tonight, showers are still in there, 30% chance. Once again, just kind of scattered across the area. When you're in a warm sector, like I've mentioned a few times, it's kind of pop-up summertime thunderstorm kind of situation. You don't have a cold front blasting through to trigger a whole line of storms that all go off. So we're really kind of hit and miss, and some of the models are really showing more of the miss. DeWitt County looks really dry all the way through, even most of the day Tuesday. I know Tuesday now we got 40% chance during the day after 1 o'clock. There's a couple of pop-up ones, that drip through McLean County or in the area. So that'll be pretty hit or miss. But the real show is going to be Tuesday night. And that's when the severe threat that we have, the enhanced risk just north of DeWitt, the slight risk in DeWitt, that's when those storms are going to come closer to hitting the DeWitt County area. And that's mostly like a midnight, late evening, midnight through 2 in the morning kind of time frame. It looks like some heavy rain, but the threat there for that time of night probably will be mainly large hail and some damaging downburst winds. I don't know that tornadoes are going to be as big of a threat at that point of the night. That's always a possibility. And in this atmosphere, we've got some rotation, some wind shear. So, that's gonna fuel some of those storms. So check the third Tuesday night forecast closely as we get that approaches, because that's our highest severe threat at this point, it looks like.
Shimon indicates Wednesday will definitely have rain, and the storms from Tuesday night could carry into the morning commute, with more rain expected the rest of the day.
And then as we get into Wednesday, then those storms are going to just kind of stay nearby. So Wednesday morning, right out of the gate, you could have some strong storms already going as you head to work. We've got, I think, a 90% chance in there. Yeah. So there's going to be rain on Wednesday, just a matter of the severity level. Definitely want to have your eyes to the sky and be weather aware there, because as you're traveling to work, there could be some pretty strong storms still in the area. And a good part of the day, there's going to be kind of several waves of heavy rain that's going to be moving through the area on that Wednesday into Wednesday evening time frame. So we are also in an outlook on that day for severe threat. I think it's the slight risk is close by. Maybe DeWitt's only in the marginal, but they'll kind of massage where that higher threat zone is as that approaches a little bit there. But yeah, it just looks wet. Tuesday night through Wednesday evening, there's just going to be a lot of stormy, rainy activity in the area.
According to Shimon, Thursday and Friday will remain warm. There isn't an immediate cool down coming to central Illinois until the weekend.
Yeah, Wednesday still, highs mid 70s, 76 or so. We really don't cool down. The rest of the week stays pretty mild. Pop-up showers and storms even on Thursday, 79 for a high. Friday, we're 85, one of the warmer days of the next 7 days. Really, it is the warmest day of the next 7. Friday, 30% chance of showers there, 40% chance on Thursday. So we stay in the warm sector. We don't have a cold frontal passage till Saturday night, well, Saturday during the day. And that's going to start to bring in some cooler air. Then the highs, on Saturday, 71, Sunday, 60, and then in the 50s on Monday the following week. So, and then the lows are going to kind of creep down toward the 30s again. Anytime we say the word 38 for a low, then you got to think, maybe a little bit of frost forming at the ground level. So, yeah, we're going to cool down next weekend, I should say, into early the following week.
Sure.
And then we'll be dry, as we head into Sunday, says sunny and 60. Same thing for Monday. It's going to be cooler and dry. It appears that's finally when we're going to dry out in terms of rain chances.
Just this week in central Illinois, we could be looking at over 2 inches of rainfall. Shimon says it will be a huge relief to the ongoing drought concerns stemming from the dry winter months.
Yeah, I've got a 7-day plot here, and it's pegging 1.5 to 2 inches for DeWitt County. So that's just 7 days. That's normally a half a month.
Wow.
Wow. So if we get up to 2 inches, so that's a lot of rain. And, we've been taking a bite out of our drought. This is hopefully going to help continue that trend here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. This week is textbook help take a bite out of the drought, because it's just going to become in chunks and waves and not like a 6 to 8 inch rainfall on any one day. Something like that.
There will be a brief cool down into early next week. We'll have more with Shimon in the days ahead on next week's forecast, the rest of the spring, and an update on the drought. Get more weather data and forecasts at weather.gov/Lincoln. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Spring is in the air, so it's time to choose your new Silverado. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. We have a good selection of new Silverados with springtime savings and special finance rates. Choose from regular cabs, double cabs, or crew cabs in gas or diesel. We're also allowing extra money for your trade on all new Silverados this month. Silverado, together let's drive. See all our inventory at BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
News time is 22 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Piatt County residents have seen its local medical center grow. In fact, just last year, the group hired over 100 new employees for all the services they continue to roll out. Andrew Buffenbarger, Chief Compliance Officer at Kirby Medical Center in Monticello, indicates that between facility updates, the addition of fitness programs, and the hiring of 130 new employees last year, they are doing everything they can to improve their services.
Yeah, it's been interesting as the campus has gotten more beautiful and the health and fitness programs have expanded, so too has everything else around us. So when I started 12 years ago, we had a little over 200 employees. Today we have 500, and we hired 130 people last year. So yeah, the growth to support these things has just been tremendous. And what's happened is now that folks want to come to campus to do a lot of things, they also come here for their health care. So we've been under construction basically since about 2018, trying to keep up with that interest. So we rebuilt our physician clinics in Atwood and Cerro Gordo. We've significantly expanded the physician clinic here in Monticello and added a quick care, which is like a convenient care. We're expanding our imaging center now to add a fixed MRI. We've moved our therapy across the street so that we can make our lab department about twice the size it was. We're adding 2 more operating rooms. So the growth has just been pretty tremendous. And we have a perpetual, 30 vacancies because it's just like we've never really caught up, which is a good thing because the demand has been so strong from folks who just want to get their health care in the same place that they come to stay well.
Buffenbarger credits CEO Steve Tenhouse for his steady leadership, as the fiscal mindfulness has allowed them to grow responsibly while still doing so efficiently.
Yeah, I think we've had the benefit of having the same very bright CEO for the last 25 years, who is also an accountant, and we've been very fiscally mindful over this period, so that we're growing in response to identified needs. We're not building it and hoping they come. There's a lot of strategy behind it, making sure that we're building things that we know folks are going to need, and we're doing it in a way that doesn't overload us with debt. So it's been a matter of just being very mindful that we're doing this slowly over time. So I mentioned we've been under construction since 2018, and our current project has about 3 years left on it. And hopefully that'll be it for a while. But it's grown in stages and it's grown carefully. So that's kind of how it's happened, is just making sure that you're not building too fast and too far and getting out ahead of yourself. Yeah, our fixed MRI will be done in the next month or so, and then our imaging suite will finish its build out at the same time. Lab has just finished being relocated and broadly expanded. So then the next step for us is to just start bumping out the backside of the building so we can add 2 operating rooms. We have 2 already, and really once that happens, we're going to be able to accommodate many more surgeries at a time, and access is just going to get better. And right now that's where our focus is.
One of the major goals for Kirby Medical Center is proactive care. Buffenbarger explains that getting patients to their providers in a timely manner helps them catch issues early and prevent ER visits. In turn, those who need to visit the ER experience shorter wait times.
We found that we were just getting busier and busier, and we were trying to keep, Kirby a place where you could come get healthcare quickly and when you need it. So we didn't want long wait times for folks to establish with a provider. We didn't want folks to wait a long time in the emergency room. And so in order for us to stay, on pace with the growing interest in our services, we've had to just add and add and add. So we've added, physicians, and we've added advanced practice providers, and we've had to add space in exam rooms. And it's been more a matter of just trying to stay ahead of it so that the services here are always as good as they have always been and the community has come to expect. We know that a lot of the larger hospital systems are challenged with trying to keep up with folks who come into those emergency rooms, and wait times can be long. And we feel for them, we understand that, but we've done our level best to make sure that that's not the experience that patients have here. So, we've expanded our ER staffing pretty significantly. And then we've added other services around the campus to make it so that, you can get in to see your doctor before you have an emergency. So it makes it less likely for you to have to visit an ER in the first place. So if you have to wait 3 months to see your doctor, chances are something's going to happen in that time that you're going to be sent to an emergency room that could have been prevented by seeing that doctor earlier. We've tried to make sure that healthcare here is something that's sufficiently supportive and reactive that we keep those volumes in the ER low. And that means that when you do have a genuine emergency and have to come to the ER, it's available to you.
To learn more about Kirby Medical Center in Piatt County, find them on Facebook or visit kirbyhealth.org. Now for your local obituaries. Dixie R. Blankenship, 89, of Clinton, passed away at 4:35 p.m. April 8th at Lincoln Village in Lincoln, Illinois. Services will be 11 a.m. Wednesday, April 22nd at Weldon United Methodist Church in Weldon, with Reverend Gary Fairchild officiating. Burial will follow at Weldon Cemetery. There will be no visitation. Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton is in charge of arrangements. Memorials may be directed to Traditions Hospice, Dove, or the Dixie Blankenship Memorial Fund. Helen A. Stites passed away at the age of 99 on April 9th in Grand Junction, Colorado, surrounded by her family. A private graveside service will be held in Charleston in June, where Helen and Stan will unite for what would have been their 80th anniversary. Memorials may be directed to the Clinton United Methodist Church or the DeWitt County Museum. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. That's DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more. DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. One a Democrat, the other a Republican. Targets of sexual misconduct allegations, they're leaving Congress. Democrat Eric Swalwell of California and Republican Tony Gonzalez of Texas are quitting Capitol Hill. President Trump is standing firm on his insistence of a nuclear-free Iran. That's why he says the U.S. has imposed a naval blockade on Iranian ports. There are reports unconfirmed so far that a second round of U.S.-Iran peace talks could take place later this week. Pakistan has been pushing for another round of talks. An AI-generated image that appeared to depict President Trump as Jesus has disappeared from the president's social media site. And watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures down 23 points. NASDAQ futures are up 110 points. More details, srnnews.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5496.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5496.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Slight chance for storms today, otherwise cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. High temperatures reach up to 85. Southwesterly winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Chance of thunderstorms tonight, lows level off around 66, partly cloudy skies. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, it's 70 degrees.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In a game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com, Forrest Rodden turned in his second complete game in as many outings, and Monticello overcame a slow start to beat Prairie Central 9-3 for its 15th straight win to open the season in Illini Prairie Conference high school baseball action on Monday in Monticello. Rodden's only blemish in his complete game effort was a 3-run first-inning home run by Chase Simpkins. After that, Rawdon would get the last 19 of 21 batters he faced, a dominant performance following a 9-strikeout, 5-inning complete game last week against Decatur St. Teresa. Tony Scherer had the Sages' bats off balance for the first time through the order, but Monticello would break through in the third. A Coy Williams run-scoring double brought Monticello within 3-2. Williams later scored on Jake Motzgood's RBI sac fly. Dawson Gatros put Monticello in front for good in the fourth inning with an RBI single that scored Matthias Rudolph. Williams broke the game open with a 2-run double in the sixth inning, extending the Monticello lead to 7-3. Williams was 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and 3 RBIs. Motzgood drove in 2 runs. Cole Basak was 2 for 3 with an RBI double for Monticello. Rawdon went 7 complete innings, allowing 3 runs and 1 hit with 2 walks and hit a batter. He was the State Bank of Bement player of the game. Monticello is 15-0 overall and 3-0 in the Illini Prairie Conference. They visit Champaign St. Thomas More on Thursday. The Monticello Lady Sages started fast and held off Prairie Central for a 9-6 win in Illini Prairie Conference high school softball action on Monday in Monticello. Monticello jumped out to a quick 7-0 lead with a 3-run first inning and a 4-run second inning. After the Lady Hawks got within 7-6 thanks to a 3-run fifth inning, Monticello added 2 insurance runs in the sixth. Allie Widener was 2 for 3 with a double and 2 RBIs to pace the Monticello offense. Madison Highland was 1 for 3 with a double and 2 RBIs. Highland went 5 innings in circle, allowing 4 runs on 10 hits with a walk and striking out 2. Cassidy Stoffel was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Isabella Beery was 3 for 4 with a double for Monticello. Stoffel struck out 4 in 2 scoreless innings of relief. Monticello goes to 11-4 overall and 1-2 in the Illini Prairie Conference. They will host Clinton on Wednesday. Hear the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Braden Leish had 3 extra base hits, and Heyworth used a balanced offensive attack to beat Ridgeview 11-1 in Heart of Illinois Conference baseball action on Monday in Colfax. Leish doubled twice and tripled among his 3 hits, and 5 different players drove in runs for the victory. Jackson Law drove in 2 and tripled. Leish, Boston Cats, Braxton Denning, and Ridge Braden all had RBIs for the Hornets. Cats struck out 7 in 3 shutout innings for the win. Heyworth goes to 4-5-2 overall and 2-2 in the Heart of Illinois Conference. They will visit Argenta-Oreana on Tuesday. Maroa-Forsyth scored 4 first-inning runs and never looked back as the Trojans rolled Meridian 13-3 in non-conference high school baseball action on Monday in Macon. Colby Lane was 2 for 5 with a double and 3 RBIs to lead the Trojans' offense. Ace Giles, Camden Trendler, and Cooper Wise drove in 2 runs. Trendler and Wise had doubles in the victory. Ian Haynes fired 4 1/3 shutout innings. He struck out 5, allowed 2 hits, and had 0 walks. Wise allowed 3 unearned runs in 2 2/3 innings of relief. He struck out 3 and walked 3. The Trojans go to 8-4-1 overall. They travel to Pleasant Plains on Tuesday. 2 players homered, and Normal Community powered its way to a 16-3 win over Danville in a 5-inning run rule win on Monday in Big 12 Conference high school baseball action from Danville. Owen Knox and Gavin Michaels went yard on Tuesday. They each had 2 RBIs. Max Heineman, Drew Stevens, and Gavin Swartz each hit doubles. Gavin Michaels drove in 3 runs, and Swartz drove in 2. Stevens, Lucas Beatty, and Carter Harris had RBIs for the Ironmen. Chase Hendren allowed 3 runs on 3 hits in 3 innings of work to pick up the win. He struck out 5 and walked 5. Normal Community goes to 9-1 overall and 3-0 in the Big 12 Conference. They travel to Morton on Tuesday before hosting Danville on Wednesday. Tanner Nolan tossed 5 no-hit innings, and Normal West made easy work of Urbana in a 12-0 5-inning run roll win on Monday in Big 12 Conference high school baseball action in Normal. Nolan struck out 3 and walked 1. Jasper Pomus was 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs in the victory for the Wildcats. Bryson Edwards doubled and drove in 2. Nolan, Ty Backman, Sam McCulley, Mason Aslinger, and Drake Rumps each recorded RBIs for Normal West. Normal West goes to 9-5 overall and 3-0 in the Big 12 Conference. They're back at it on Wednesday when they visit Urbana. The top of the Argenta-Oreana lineup combined to drive in 6 runs on 6 hits and lead the Lady Bombers to a 12-5 win over Blue Ridge in Lincoln Prairie Conference high school softball action on Monday in Farmer City. Alyssa Armstrong finished 3 for 4 with a double, 2 RBIs, and scored 3 runs atop of the Lady Bombers order. Piper Jones was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and scored 3 times in the second spot, while Addison Maiden finished 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs in the 3 spot. Sophia Wicklund added an RBI for the Lady Bombers. Carly Fenton was 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI to lead Blue Ridge. Addison Roos was 2 for 4 with an RBI. Olivia Jones surrendered 8 runs, but only 1 was earned in 6 innings in circle for the Lady Knights. Armstrong struck out 9 in 7 complete innings. She allowed 5 runs, 4 were earned on 8 hits, and issued 2 walks. Blue Ridge goes to 1-9 overall and 0-2 in the Lincoln Prairie Conference. They visit Salt Fork on Wednesday. Argenta-Oreana is 9-7 overall and 3-0 in the Lincoln Prairie Conference. They host Heyworth on Tuesday. Kyle Schwarber homered twice and drove in 3 runs. Christopher Sanchez pitched 6 strong innings, and the Philadelphia Phillies defeated the Chicago Cubs 13-7 on Monday night. JT Realmuto had 3 hits and 3 RBIs for the Phillies. Dansby Swanson hit a 2-run homer for the Cubs, who have lost 3 of 4. Sanchez, who made his first All-Star team start last season and finished as the NL Cy Young runner-up, struck out 8 and walked 3 while allowing 6 hits. Javier Assad was batted for 9 runs on 11 hits in 4 1/3 innings. Marsh also had 3 hits and scored twice. Chicago's Nico Horner went 0 for 3, halting his on-base streak at 14 consecutive games. Cubs right-handed pitcher Colin Rea opposes Phillies right-handed pitcher Aaron Nola in the second game of the 3-game series on Tuesday night. Angel Martinez and Brian Rococchio homered as the Cleveland Guardians beat the St. Louis Cardinals 9-3 on Monday night. Gavin Williams allowed 2 runs in 5+ innings for the win. He gave up 5 hits, walked 2, and struck out 4. Jordan Walker's major league best 8th home run leading off the 6th ended Williams' night. Liberatore needed a season-high 105 pitches to get through 5 innings. He allowed 4 runs on 6 hits, walked 3, and struck out 2. Left-handed pitcher Joey Cantillo starts for the Guardians against Cardinals right-handed pitcher Michael McGreevy on Tuesday night. Theo Lindstein scored, and the St. Louis Blues overcame a 2-goal deficit to beat the Minnesota Wild 6-3 on Monday night. Lindstein scored on a backhand shot with 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in the second period to put the Blues up 4-3. Jonathan Drouin and Dalibor Dvorsky each had an assist on the goal. Pavel Buchnevich scored his 200th goal of his NHL career, and Jimmy Snuggerud, Jake Neighbors, Otto Stenberg, and Colton Parayko added goals for the Blues. Parayko's goal was his 81st, and he moved into 4th in franchise history by a Blues defenseman. Nick Foligno, Michael McCarron, and Daniel Urov scored for the Wild. Joel Hofer made 28 saves in the win. Philip Gustafson made 16 saves for the Wild. The Blues won 58.8% of the faceoffs in the game. Tage Thompson scored twice to reach 40 goals on the season, and the Buffalo Sabres clinched the Atlantic Division title by defeating the Chicago Blackhawks 5-1 on Monday night. Alex Touch had a goal and an assist as Buffalo posted its 4th consecutive win and improves to 50-23-8. Ryan McLeod and Josh Norris also scored, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen made 15 saves. Ryan Green scored for Chicago, who falls to a 28-39-14, and Spencer Knight made 21 saves. The last place Blackhawks dropped to 7-17-7 in their last 31 games. Both teams finished the regular season at home on Wednesday night. The Sabres faced the Dallas Stars, and the Blackhawks played the San Jose Sharks. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Seattle Mariners beat the Houston Astros 6-2, while the Baltimore Orioles took down the Arizona Diamondbacks 9-7. The Pittsburgh Pirates routed the Washington Nationals 16-5, while the New York Yankees took down the LA Angels 11-10. The Miami Marlins beat the Atlanta Braves 10-4, while the Minnesota Twins took down the Boston Red Sox 13-6. The Texas Rangers beat the Athletics 8-1, and the LA Dodgers shut out the New York Mets 4-0. And NHL scores from yesterday, the Philadelphia Flyers beat the Carolina Hurricanes 3-2 in a shootout victory, while the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Detroit Red Wings 4-3 in overtime. The Florida Panthers beat the New York Rangers 3-2, while the Dallas Stars beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-5. The San Jose Sharks beat the Nashville Predators 3-2, while the Colorado Avalanche took the